Hey guys, it's your boy Deempo. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well. And today we're back with some more Arena Breakout Infinite content. In particular, we'll be doing a Season 1 tier list. So I did a Season 0 tier list a few weeks ago, and now there we are not even a week into Season 1. We can already tell which weapons are pretty much dominating the meta. So we'll be running through those best to worst. Before we get into that, guys, we are just over 200 subs to hit our 10k sub goal. So if you haven't already and you do enjoy the content, please hit the sub button as it would mean a lot to me. We'll be doing a huge Discord giveaway, 10k subs. And while we're on the topic of Discord, the King of Scav competition I'm running currently is about to run out at the end of the month, and the victor will be winning a 1 month free composite case. So there's still time to jump in Discord and enter the competition. Don't be shy. Also drop in and say hello. Now, without further ado, let's get cracking into the video, guys. What I'm going to do with this is, I'm not going to cover every single weapon. But for those that are worth noting, I will build. So I'm going to start with the assault rifles, and then I'll work my way down. So, first is the AKM. The AKM is now down the pecking order. I don't see how this weapon fits the meta at all anymore, because you have two better options, being the AEK and the ACE31. ACE31 is much better because you can get a high firing power on it. Meanwhile, the AKM has lower RPM, medium firing power. It's just all the stats on that worse. And to fully kit out an AKM will cost you an arm and a leg. So, all that said, I feel like the AKM has dropped down the pecking order. I would even go down as much as C. I mean, yeah, now that all the weapons are so much cheaper, there's no reason for you to run the AKM. It's a Season 0 thing. Even then, it wasn't the greatest of the guns. So I'll leave it at C. The way this criteria is going to work is going to be based on price, ammo it shoots, firing power, RPM, velocity, etc. Right? So unfortunately, the AKM is just not there, guys. There's much better weapons out there. Even though the velocity is not bad, that medium... I mean, 715 velocity versus 800 ACE31. There's no reason for you to run this one. Those two other guns are in there. So I would not touch that. And then we have the M4. The M4 is a great weapon. It's a great weapon because it's versatile in the sense that you can kit it out very easily and very cheaply. The way I build mine is very cheap, but it is a very good build because it offers you versatility. It's got 800 RPM. It's got high firing power. Shoots decent rounds, not the greatest, but now M855 is very cheap, which is why this weapon is going to score a lot harder than it did last season. So let me just take this barrel out quickly. I'm going to just remove that for a second. Over here, we want to go for the ARL. ARL, in my opinion, is the only barrel worth running on this because of the range and recoil that it gives you. You want to run the ARL with it. Just a great handguard, very versatile. Here, don't suggest you run for a silencer. It's too expensive. You can if you wanted to. I usually go for the AR-15. That is more than enough. This build right here, it will absolutely dominate. So I don't know why you can't get the compact grip for this. It's very strange, but this is the build, guys. It'll cost you at this point in time. It's an inflated market at the moment. 107k. Ammo is in abundance. 800 RPM. It shoots like an absolute laser beam, right? So what I'm going to do here is... I'm going to save this. Also, you can screenshot if you want this build. And I'm going to jump in the firing range. We're going to test it out there. Oopsies. Has anyone else's game been experiencing like lag and drop of frames? Like, TV station is borderline unplayable for me at times. Like, I'm just teleporting. Even though it tells me I'm running at 100 frames, I'm really not running at 100 frames. So I don't know what's going on. They really need to optimize this. Alright, so jump over here, gun modding. I want this one. As you can see, it's an insane weapon. You can run TV station with this and dominate. Very versatile. Good mobility. The weight isn't too bad on it either. It's at 3 kilograms. That's insane. And hip fire, if you want to hip fire, very good spread on as well. So Where do I think the M4 sits? Due to the versatility and the price point of it, I would say this is an A weapon. It's not quite S or SST, but it's good. It's good. But in an inflated market, the attachments can set you back a little bit. To fully kit it out, it'll cost you an arm and a leg. All right. What do we have next on the weapon list here? All right, so we have the FAL. This was and still is the meta at the moment. Yes, it got nerfed, like the short barrel got nerfed, but I never ran the short barrel. I don't think you do need to run the short barrel. To run the FAL, you gotta be a rich boy. I would run M62s at a minimum. So this is your endgame weapon. Like, let's just not mistake it here. This is an endgame weapon. You should be treating it as an endgame weapon. And to kit it out, it costs a bomb. So this particular build here that I'm about to run, I suggest you run tilt grip for the ergonomics. Like, this build alone will cost you probably like 200k. Don't worry about this price point here. Like, considering how inflated the market is at the moment, this build will set you back. But you do that up close, and that's T6 armor. If you're running 60 rounds, double tap, single tap, you know, tier 1 helmet. And just whether you tap at it or you like spray it, that's insane. It is the best round in the game, or should I say on par with the SMG and 737. So this weapon was the meta and still is the meta for Forbidden. ACE's SST weapon, albeit very, very, very expensive to run. So yeah, this is what you run in TV station on Forbidden. I wouldn't recommend you run it in Lockdown. You can, but Lockdown is a lot of rats, so you don't really need to run M61s. You can get away with M62s, but even those are like 4k a pop. Next up, we have the new boy, which is the HK416 or the H416 that is in this game. This is another great weapon. Now, this is much better than the M4 because of the fire rate and the lower recoil that you can get with it. However, it is a little bit pricier. So this particular build here that I'm about to show you will cost you about 30k more than what the M4 will cost you. And you can run a compact grip, which is freaking insane. Insane. Like, the fact that you can run the best grip in the game for like cheaper than anything else, it's insane. So this is the build I would run. So it will cost you about 120, 130. If the market's really inflated, it will cost you about 150. However, it is worth every penny because this makes T3 ammo very viable. I've made a video on me running this in TV station with T3 ammo, and I no, that is nuts, man. Even if you see a T6, you just like metal the crap out. It fires fast enough. I mean, this is an S tier weapon. It is crazy, crazy how good it is. Crazy good, crazy good. All right, what do we have next up? Next up, we have the MDR, another new boy, or newcomer on the list, should I say. So this is a hybrid between the M4 and the SCAR. It's got very good RPM, high firing power, very good recoil control. You can't get too many attachments for this, but you don't need to. Like, to kit this out, you can kit it out at a very good pricing point. So you can already get 81 horizontal, vertical recoil. Horizontal recoil is a little bit of a letdown though, but you can kit this weapon out for like 90k, man, and it'll perform on any map. Like, it's got the range, it's got the RPM, it's just a solid weapon overall. So 80 to 90k to kit out. If you check the weight on it, it's very light, so it's about 4 kilograms. And you can move around, it's maneuverable. Very, very good weapon. But it's just amazing. For the price point, I believe it's a complete weapon. So given that this is a budget, well-rounded weapon, I'll put it A tier on par with the M4. Though I still believe the M4 is superior. It's just the price point of this makes it cheaper than anything else. Therefore, I would highly, highly recommend it. And it looks like my game just crashed. Nope, we're good. Alright, next up, we have the AK102. This one is now way down the pecking order. The only reason why you would run this weapon is for the cheap scope, for the PSO scope. I mean, aside from that, I don't really see a reason why you should be running this. Also, very strange that the first skin they released was for this weapon. Paid skin anyway, so Very curious to see how they made to that, you know. But you can put an RPK stock, which is great. You can run a collapsible lightweight stock. You can run this. So you can get the recoil to be very, very controllable, which is good. But if you run that stock there, you won't be able to run the best, so should I say, sorry, the cheapest scope in the game. So that's the issue there. You want to run the PSO there. And unfortunately, this is what really like burns me on this gun is you can't run the meta handguard with it because you need a red dot as well. The PSO is only 4 times. So you're forced to essentially run either that or that. And this is probably the better option, but it'll cost you a little bit more. So then you're forced to run an incline. Just the incline alone is about 10k. That's another 7k. Scope is about 10k. And then in the end, ends up costing similar to what usually costs you at a I don't know. It's just for me, it's a budget weapon, but you can use the Scar, which is much better at that price point. So I don't know why people run the AK 102. I mean, yes, the Scar has a lower fire rate. I understand that, but it's just yeah. I don't think I saw how this had a place in like season 0, but season 1, so many weapons being offered, with the MDR being one of them, shooting the same rounds as this. So this is competing with the Scar, it's competing with the M4, it's competing with the MDR, not HK. HK is way out of its price range. So those are the guns that are competing, it's all, and they're all better than this weapon. So I would say this is like a B tier weapon because of the scope alone. There's not much else that it has going for it, unfortunately. Next up, we have the AK-74, and this is still a very strong weapon. Now, with the addition of this stock here, it really shot up the meta. What I usually thought, like I used to crap on this weapon consistently last season. I just did not realize where it fed in the meta, like where it really fits in the meta, sorry, should I say. But now you get chip suppressors, like for peanuts, even though I still run it loud. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to kit out. You can get the recoil very controllable. Like this whole build will cost you no more than 100k, and it absolutely slaps. Like this is an amazing build. With inflation, might set you just a little bit more than that, but given that it shoots the best budget rounds in the game, which is the BP, that's a huge plus. Now the downside is it has medium firing power, but yeah, for the price point, this weapon is still goated, man. Like crazy good weapon. So I think this is more like a, man, it's kind of like between A and S tier. This is very hard for me to judge because there's another weapon that shoots the same rounds, is going to be S tier, and this is not as good as that, but it's budget. So I'll put it in A tier. Still a great weapon to run. But yeah, it's just tethering towards S, but it's just not quite there yet, unfortunately. However, it is a very viable platform to run. Cool. Let's see what we have next on the list. Then we have the AK-74U. This is a garbage weapon. In my opinion, this is the worst weapon in the game. This is a missed opportunity, guys. Like this weapon should have had, it should have had much higher RPM, and it would have been much better. Instead, for some reason, they opted not to give it high fire rate. I don't know why. It just makes no sense. Honestly, to me, it makes no sense. So it is the worst weapon. I'll put it down as DT weapon. Okay, next up we have the F2000. So this used to be a very good close quarter weapon, but it's not the cheapest, I think, to just get it basically kitted. It's kind of like the MDR, just a pricier version with like a much higher fire rate. So in terms of range, it's got very good range, kind of like the MDR. It doesn't weigh too much, but between this and the HK, guys, the HK will always win because the HK is a lot more modifiable. Whereas this, you can only put select few grips. You can't use a compact grip on it. But and it's gonna be the same price point that I built the HK for. So it's a great weapon, very good fire rate, and that's pretty much all it has going for it because it's just a lazy. But is it as good as the HK? Absolutely, absolutely not. But it is good. It is very good. So I'm gonna put this at A tier. It'll be it's not an S tier, but it's an A tier weapon. Very good close-up range. Same fire rate as the RPK. But I don't know, it's like, takes up too much of your screen for some reason. It's got a nice little mag check speed there, high firing power, 850 RPM, but you will not use this weapon in the end game because M905 can't compete with the M61s or even the M62s. So that's my opinion on that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, what you think. Next up, we have the AR-57. This is an amazing weapon. It's not the cheapest to kit out. You can run like a budget version, but you can run a compact grip on it, which is huge. Here, you want to run silenced, of course. You want to remove these iron sights, and you got yourself a laser beam. But what really lets this weapon down? It's the fact that the ammo is so expensive. For tier 3 ammo, you're paying 800 pop, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd. But it destroys. Absolutely destroys. So the ammo that I'm running at the moment is a tier 5 ammo. SS190? Is it SS190? No, I'm running SS197 SR, which is SS197. Let me try this one. So this is T5 ammo. It costs like 4 or 5k a pop. Yeah, that fire rate, you'll destroy it. It's a literal laser beam. However, the ammo is extremely important. Extremely expensive. Therefore, I believe this is an S tier weapon. Alrighty, next we have the ACE31. So this is your AKM, but a much more improved version. It doesn't cost, an arm and a leg to kit out. It doesn't have too many attachments. However, it does have a long barrel that gives a high firing power, crazy effective range on it, crazy good. You can run it loud, you can run it silenced, it doesn't really matter. This weapon will perform each and every time. I usually run it loud, there's no reason to run it silent. All you gotta do here is just put one of those on top, and then you want to run a red dot on it, and it performs. It honestly does. You have different handguards to choose from here. It's entirely up to you which one you want to go for. I usually go for that one there, and I'll just put a vertical grip on it. And this is a very good weapon for TV station because it's crazy good up front, so up close, and you can still like shoot fairly far with it. And the recoil is not that bad, and the ammo it shoots is really good. Whether you're running PS, of course he has the AK recoil to it, but you can just tap it. And it's got better fire rate than the AK. So, great weapon overall. I'll place this at A tier. It deserves the A tier. But there is one weapon that's better than that, and we'll get to it in a second. Next up on our list, we have no other than the AEK, which is the best AK platform in my humble opinion. It's just amazing ammo. However, it does cost a little bit to kit out. This is not a cheap weapon to run, guys. It is just isn't. But it is a great weapon. So if you are someone that has a bit of cash stashed up, this weapon will perform for you above and beyond, because it's got the fire rate of an M4, it's got the recoil control of an M4, and in my personal opinion, that's just freaking crazy. Like, it shouldn't be that way. The caliber that it shoots and the speed at which it shoots it at, that is insane. Like, check this out, right? That's madness. Like, this weapon makes T3. It's just that insane fire rate, guys, and it's just a great weapon. I mean, it's not the lightest, 4.10, and that day is 3.87, but if you compare the two here, the only thing this has on this weapon is the high firing power, because this doesn't have high firing power, but everything else, stats-wise, this weapon craps all over it. In my opinion, this is an S tier weapon, so AEK is here, and it is in S tier. It's stupendous how strong this weapon is. Very strong weapon. Cool. What else do we have left on the list, ladies and gentlemen? We have the Scarl. Scarl is good. It's kind of like your budget M855 build. However, what this weapon has that many others don't is the fact that you can use this as a freaking marksman rifle, man. So you have the the LL there. It gives you 129 effective range. You can get this recoil down to pretty much freaking nothing. Run it with something like that, right? And then you have the where is it? The rail here. You can get this to an extremely low recoil. Put some M905s on that Golden Valley and snipe to your heart's content. This weapon will perform each and every time. Even up close, if you know, if shit hits the fan, it has you covered. Like, it is that good. Yeah, I have nothing but praise for this weapon. The only thing that lets it down, of course, is the firing power and the RPM. Sorry, just the RPM at 500, which is not great, but high noise suppression, high firing power. So it will cost you a fair bit to kit out though. So what I'm gonna do here is thank you. Look at that, that's insane. Even if you want to switch to semi-automatic, that's freaking insane. But the firing power is where, for some reason, on semi-automatic, you can't really shoot it that fast. Interesting. So you want to go fully automatic and just tap it. So still great, awesome weapon, but it's not an S tier weapon. So for the price point and for what it does, it's like more A than B, but I'll put it A because a lot of people use it. Very cheap to run. You can find it on scavs. Just, yeah, just great overall. Okay, let's see what we have next. Game keeps freezing. Maybe because I'm ulting in and out. T951. There's no reason to run this weapon anymore. I feel like, even though they've added new attachments for it now, there's different things you can do to it. I just don't see how this is now better than the TO3 because the TO3 came and superseded it. Still a great weapon, but it's not the cheapest to kit out. The ammo is no longer viable. Like, oh, sorry, not viable. It's no longer cheap. You have to put a long barrel, and by the time you're done kitting this out, it'll end up costing you more than the TO3. And it's got lower RPM. Takes too much of your screen. Great weapon. It was a lot better last season, but now with the TO3, I don't feel like it's up there anymore. But yeah, the rounds it shoots, even the purple rounds, are crazy, crazy strong. So I'll put this at B tier. Yeah, I just feel like this weapon lost its way because the TO3 is here now. And this is perhaps tied strongest weapon in the game with the, what's it called? With the FAL, because the T5 ammo for this, unfortunately, costs you 5k a pop now. So T5 ammo for this weapon, guys, it's as strong penetration-wise as an M62. However, damage is low. M62 does like 71. This does is like 44 or something, or maybe a bit more. But the speed at which you shoot these rounds at, compared to what you can shoot the M62s with, and the precision, it's unparalleled. And you'll see what I mean in a second. Now the stock for this costs a lot, and the ammo costs a lot, but what weapon, right? DVC-12. DVC-12, I believe, is the gold ammo. DVC-12, yeah, it's T5. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. 4. Yeah, that's insane. It's a laser beam. So this is the new meta. It's just that strong. It honestly is like easy to kit out. Not too many attachments. Don't need to do much to it. It just deletes. Absolute laser beam. I feel like the stats on this thing are incorrect. Like, there's no way this has only 59 horizontal recoil. Like, look at this. That's crazy. Like 100 meters or whatever that distance is. So, definitely the new meta. Cool. I'm not going to redo the MPX and the MP5 because I've already done that in a tier list. I'm only going to focus on the new weapons, which are the vectors here. So MP5, I think he's now dropped a tier. I rated it really highly last year because sorry, last season, should I say, not last year, because it was at a good price point. It punched way above its weight. Now I feel it's like it's down here, but now you can pick it up for even cheaper. However, why you would use that when you have the vectors now, it makes no sense, guys. MPX, in my opinion, is still S tier here. I put out a video a couple of days ago, or actually yesterday, and I was just wiping lockdown with tier 3 ammo. So this is on par with the HK. It's like same fire rate. Ammo is just as cheap, and you can fully mod it to oblivion. You can mod this weapon for like 150k. You can really mod it up. So it's just gone so cheap lately. Where is it? I'll show you the build that I run. So this is my lockdown MPX build. It's crazy stupid good. So let me show you here. And you can get gold tier 4 ammo for this weapon. It's got the range, it's got the firepower, it's got the recoil. It doesn't break the bank. Costs as much as the HK builder showed you. Yeah, just a great weapon to shoot heads with. Insanely powerful. So we'll go ahead and put that at the S tier because that's where it deserves to be. It is still the best SMG in the game. Cool. Next up we have the P90. P90 is cheap, it's reliable, but what really lets it down is the fact that the ammo is way too expensive. Unless you run leg meta, it's got very good firepower, very good recoil. But unless you're running the leg meta, you're not really going to get much value out of it. And then all the other SMGs, I'm not even going to bother covering. The new one I will. It's a great SMG. For like 20, 30k, you can get this to have like stupid recoil control. Like stupid recoil control, guys. But the ammo, it's what really lets this weapon down, unfortunately. If it wasn't for the ammo, this weapon would be an absolute beast because I'll just put that on there. I'll show you the stats here. You're gonna flip out. Like insanely good stats. You can put AR stocks on it. I'll do a video on this separately. But so cheap to run. So freaking cheap to run, man. Hey, look at the stats. 8376. You can get as high as in the 90s if you wanted to. But yeah, the ammo is gonna have to go. What's the RPM on this? 750? 700. So decent RPM, very cheap weapon to build, but I wouldn't run it. Like I feel like the ammo really lets it down. So do we have this one? Oh yeah, here. I'll put this as C tier, but it's still better than the AK-74U. AK-74U is just absolutely useless. Uzi, C tier. There's no reason to run the Uzi because there's much better options. It's not that it's a bad weapon, just much better options. It's got medium firepower. I mean, what does this have? Low firing power. There you have it. So that MP40 is absolute garbage. Mac 10, there's no reason to run this anymore because it's a much better option. MPF45, no reason to run anymore. Much better option for similar price range. So these two here, I feel like they got outdated. They aged really well. They were good in Season 0, but now we're way past Season 0. There's no point. That is absolute garbage. That is absolute garbage. Like, those are just dipped as placeholders for the scabs. In terms of submachine guns, pretty much we've covered everything. Now we come to the vectors. At the price point at which you can kit this out and the carnage that you can dish out with these, it's freaking insane. Like, they're strong, powerful, they're very modifiable, so you can kit them out quite easily. They don't exactly break the bank, so for like 80k you can have a proper do I need to run the bottom? Which one do I need to run here? Base. What am I missing here? it is that late that like my eyes are deceiving. Really? Oh, is it this one that I was running? Which one was I running? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So you can run it that way. You can run it that way. And then you can run. I run the PK sight. Over here, I usually go with the AR. Yeah, just an awesome weapon to kit out. And just deletes. And every man and his dog are now running vectors, guys. It's got medium firing power, but it's got 950 RPM, so 100 more than the MPX. Cheaper to kit out. The range is half of the MPX, but it's much better for hip firing. So you know, hip fire this weapon, it just destroys. Look at that. Also, not too bad downrange. You can send shots down. It's just super strong. So my next video after this one will be on this one. At my lockdown build, just stupid strong. I feel like this is an S tier weapon. It's so accessible. It runs so well. Now, enter the Vector 45. Now, I'm a little bit disappointed with this one. They've given it a low firing power at 1100 RPM. And the best ammo you can get for this is the purple ammo. So that is the issue there. The purple ammo is not great. Once you get like high tier, like Forbidden or something, unless you go for the legs, it's very difficult to justify running this weapon. I just don't see how... Like, one of my mates in the playtest put 50 rounds in someone's T5 rig and did nothing. Like, it did nothing to them. So, run at your own peril. It's not... The Vector 9mm is much better. It is the meta. Even though this one has higher firing power, the ammo costs more. And the only thing that has going for it is the fire rate, but this has lower damage multiplier, which is the fire rate. So equally as good. Equally as good down the range. But yeah, by the way, we've tested this and it has the same time to kill as the Vector 9 with the same ammo. So that's how much firing power means in this game, guys. So where do I put this? I think this is an A tier weapon. It's the best 0.45 weapon in the game, but it's not as good as the Vector 9. Vector 9, in my opinion, is by far the superior weapon. Next up, we have the Marksman rifles. So I've done the VSS in the last tier list. I don't see where this weapon fits. It's got a low... It's got medium firing power, low noise suppression, which should be like high noise suppression, because this is like one of the most solid guns in the world. Costs an absolute bomb to kit out. It's a very expensive weapon to kit out. Max costs like 50k each, which makes no sense to me. They need to release like another version of this called the AS Val, and that should run the AR stocks, and that should be like high firing power. That should be like the premium weapon. It shoots good ammo, cheap-ish ammo, but when you spend like 300k to max out a gun that has like FL recoil control on it, it's just, yeah, it doesn't sit well with me, guys. It doesn't. So I'll say this is like a B tier weapon. There's no reason for you to run this. Way too expensive. They should have brought the prices down to see more people running it. It's just not there. SVDS, I've covered this in my last tier list, so nothing's changed since. This is still an SST, or should I say S2SS. It's got the best rounds in the game. Now they're about 3.5 for SMB and 737, so huge for Forbidden. Like, you 2-tap anything or 1-tap to the helmet, so it's still the gun to beat. Insanely powerful. It's not the cheapest to build, but it's not the most expensive to build either. I have a couple of builds. You can run it like that. You can run it with PSOs. So if you can do a budget build, you can do an expensive build. It's entirely up to you how you want to run it. There's multiple versions you can do for it. It's just a solid weapon. Next up, we have the M110. This is still the undisputed, and it's still SS tier. You all know how good the M110 is. I don't have to tell you anything. It's very cheap to kit out. This weapon should cost double what it already costs. I don't know why it's as cheap as it is. Every man and his dog runs it. Fires M62s, M61s. And that is huge in this game, guys. That is huge. All right, next up, we move to the bolt actions. The Mosin got significantly nerfed. It's still B tier in my opinion. You can still tap with it. I wiped 2 squads earlier with a quick kit using purple ammo, so crazy good, but not as good as it used to be. So I think the rats have turned elsewhere. M24, I'll rate this same as the Mosin. It's just a cheap ammo, but why would you run this when you can run the sorry, cheap gun to build, but why would you run this when you can run an M110? Because you got a pull scope on it, and the scopes essentially are what costs a lot in this game anyway. So the M24, in my humble opinion, is just not a very good value for money. Therefore, I'll put it on the C tier. It's just not there. SJ still stupid overpowered. You can kit it up to like 250k to just have a scope on it. They pretty much like destroy the ergonomics on this. Takes forever to scope in, but once you do scope in, you just one tap anything in the game with APs. In my opinion, this is still the best bolt action rifle in the game, and I'll put it at S tier because you can still one tap. It's still the preferred option for the thermals, so it's still the weapon to beat in my humble opinion. Light machine guns, we move to the RPK. This is the this is like the holy grail of assault rifles, man. It's a great weapon. Shoots the cheapest T4 ammo in the game. It is stupid good for recoil. Stupid good for... Oh my god, it's freezing. It doesn't take too much to kit out. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive either. I'll show you the version that I run. And I just delete people with it in TV station or even on farm on any map. Like the range that you can get it for this weapon. Right, look at the range, like 190 effective range, crazy muzzle velocity, crazy RPM, high firing power. Even with the other long barrel, it's crazy good firing power. Check this out. Can I grab my RPK, please? Thank you. It's a bloody laser beam. And BP rounds are some of the most cheapest ammo in the game. So massive dubs all around. In my opinion, this is a SS tier weapon. Even with BS is like cheapest T5 ammo. It absolutely deletes guys. Like this, if you're not running this gun, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like these guns here are the standout in the meta. Really, if you're not running them, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. All right, next up we have the shotguns. I think all of these shotguns are very crappy with the exception of the S12K and the USAS. Rats used to run them in Season 0, they don't run them anymore. It's like DT or even CT with AP slugs, only because it shoots AP slugs. The rest of them I'll rate about the same. However, the S12K, I would say it's a B tier weapon because, sorry, it's the USAS that I grabbed. The S12K, it's a B tier weapon. It used to be the go-to shotgun in the Season 0, but now with the USAS in my opinion, S tier, because Type 8 ammo is freaking insanely powerful. Like, insanely powerful, sorry. Oop, my game just froze. Okay, that's interesting. My character is dehydrated apparently. I didn't know you can dehydrate in the lobby. There you have it. I wonder what happens if you lose all your health in the gun range and you die. Let me jump back into the shooting range. That was scary. Let me jump back in here, guys. Man, that scared me. Alright, almost there. Cool. So the USAS, cheap to kit out, fully automatic. You put a drum on it. You can run something like that. And we want Type 8s. Two tap T6. Two tap T6. That's crazy, like. It's stupendously overpowered. I would say it's S tier because it has all the shortcomings of a shotgun, but up close this thing will delete. And at the price point, definitely S tier, guys. Like, if try it out. It's just a matter of time before this gets nerfed. It's the ammo. It's not so much the weapon that needs to get nerfed. Carbines. I feel like all of these have dropped down the pecking order significantly because all of these have now other weapons that have superseded them. So if you're gonna run a carbine, go for the M16, but I wouldn't recommend that now because of how cheap the ammo is. Go for a fully automatic M4 or a HK. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a disservice. Pistols, I'm not even gonna bother covering, but yeah, all the main weapons that you need for the meta are here. If I had to like though allocate the carbines, I would say this is like a B tier. It's just garbage. You wouldn't run it now that you have the M110. Like not even the rats run it anymore. BM9 is absolute garbage as well. It shoots good rounds, but why you would run that? Absolute besides me. I mean, 14, I would say it's B tier because you can really kit out the recoil. It's a fan favorite for a lot of people. M16 is better, much better. So I would say run the M16 instead because the firepower on it, like the RPM, it is crazy strong. I feel like if you fully kit out the M16, it's still like an A tier weapon. But now, especially since the T4 ammo has dropped in price significantly. But all the other ones like SKS, absolute garbage. Like D2C tier, a lot of people used to run it because of the ammo, but it's just a garbage gun. Garbage gun. Would not recommend, guys. Not anymore. Like we're in a different season now. Same with the SA85. But yeah, anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with this tier list, and I hope to catch you next video. Peace.